So we just arrived at Anna Maria Island, and as far as I can tell, it's really not that much different than Longboat Key as far as the beach goes. The beach is definitely a little bit wider up here, but there's a lot more people. It's a lot more crowded, as you can see behind me, and it's like a rowdier crowd. Reminds me a little more of South Beach in Miami. Longboat Key is kind of like North Beach where I live, and Anna Maria Island seems more like South Beach. So definitely not my favorite spot, but we're here now and I'll show you guys around. So one thing that's definitely a little different about Anna Maria Island is the sand is definitely that white powdery sand, kind of like they had up by the Destin area. It feels exactly like that, which is funny because this is just a few miles up the road from Longboat Key where we were just at, and the sand over there is a little bit rougher, but here it's definitely like that white powdery sand. It feels like you're walking on cotton balls here, so that's pretty nice. And once again, there's no high rises on the beach, and that's not exclusive to Anna Maria Island. Most of Longboat Key was like that too. They do have some buildings on the beach there, but here they don't really have any. It's mostly just these little houses. And when you first see all this, you think like, well, wow, this is quaint, this is beautiful, I would love to live there. Well, I feel like that too, guys, but guess what? It's always the same problem, the price. I was checking out some prices before I started shooting this. You're looking at $1.5 million, $3 million, $2.5 million, $4 million. I mean, the prices for these little houses are insane. Okay, you have to be super rich to buy one, unfortunately. The dreams of owning an oceanfront house are pretty much crushed for most of us here. But I wanted to point something out here. One thing that I do like about this area over Longboat Key is you see they have all these pine trees by the beach here, which is really nice because they have benches there and you can even put up your own chairs, and it provides some natural shade from the harsh sun. And even though it's not summer yet, it's pretty hot here today, like 90 degrees. And that's nice to have, especially on a hot day, and you don't want to bring an umbrella to the beach. So I thought that's pretty nice. And you can see somebody got married out here earlier today. That's pretty neat. They have the whole altar and the chairs set up on the beach. Nothing too fancy, pretty simple, but a beautiful place to get married for sure. So I could have been wrong with my initial assessment because we set up shop down that way, but if you come just a little bit to the left from where we parked, the beach is a little bit emptier over here, so it's not quite as crazy and quite as packed. So maybe we just parked on the wrong street. But it is still a lot more crowded than the beach at Longboat Key for sure. Well, let me take you guys by the water and let's take a look at that. So even though we're just a few miles up the road from Longboat Key here, the water here is a little bit tamer. The current's not quite as strong as it was down there. I don't know if it has anything to do with the landscape or the actual area, but it's just something I noticed because I already jumped in the water, and it's definitely not as strong, the current, as it was down there. It's a little more relaxed, a little bit easier to get in the water, especially if you're not a strong swimmer. But the temperature of the water, the color, everything like that is the same, but just not as strong of a current. Check it out. Somebody made a little shark sandcastle. How cool is that? That's a really good job they did. Very neat. So right now I'm walking north on Anna Maria Island, and I'm gonna turn around and walk back the other way to show you guys more of the scenery here and what things are like, just because I don't want the sun facing the camera. But man, that sun going down over the water never gets old, guys. I really do love that. It reminds me so much of being in California and how much I love it over there. And you know, being somebody who's not really an early bird and somebody who enjoys being up late, that's perfect for me. Maybe I'll be moving to the Gulf Coast instead. So they don't have quite as much riffraff as South Beach. It's more families, some teenagers and things like that, you know, playing ball, not a big deal. Sometimes they crash the ball into your spot and that can be annoying, but it's all right. Nothing too crazy going on. We see they got like a restaurant on the beach over there. That's pretty cool. But it is Mother's Day, and you see a lot of families hanging out on the beach over here for the most part. I like it. You know, it's not as bad as I thought it was when I first got here. I have to say that and be honest, you know. But I did like how private it was down on Longboat Key for sure. We definitely don't really have that level of privacy here. Definitely seems like more of like the hit spot to be in Anna Maria Island. So that's part of the reason I make these videos, right? So to let you guys know this is what it's like in certain areas, so that way you can decide for yourself where you'd rather be. All right, Lizzie, what do you think of Anna Maria Island? We've been to a lot of different beaches. What's your take on this place?
It's beautiful. I love the sand, but I think it's crowded for our taste. But to visit is okay, you know, as long as you keep distance and, like you say, you have those trees. If you need some shade, which won't be my case. I love the sun. But I think it's good to check it out. Every single little island, like, you know, not just to stick to one. And then go around and explore. Like us, we just had one day. Now we know we really like Longboat Key, and this is going to be our spot in the future if we have to ever come back and visit. But I still want to go to that end of the Anna Maria Island.
Yeah, we will. We're gonna go to the end, the north end she's talking about.
Yes.
We're almost all the way up there, but
Almost.
not quite.
Not quite. Yes.
So I know you guys have already heard me say this before, but one of the major assessments I'm just finding out here is that all these little beach towns are lovely along the Gulf Coast here, and a lot of them along the East Coast as well. But the affordability factor is a major problem, and I would imagine the jobs even more so a problem, because these areas are very residential and it's mostly just little family-owned businesses around. So, you know, to actually live and work on the island like this, I feel like would probably be basically impossible for most people. And the only people who own these houses are probably people who bought them 30 years ago for a fraction of what they cost today, or people that are super rich moving here from expensive states like New York and California, and buying a $3 million house close to the beach is chump change for them. So yeah, I mean, I wish I had better news for you guys, but if you want to live in an area like this, you better start ponying up the dough. I wouldn't worry too much, because I am planning on putting together a new list of like the more affordable beach towns that you can live in, because I did pass through many of them, but I will say that they are less desirable than places like this. You know, it could have some sketchy areas. The neighborhoods are more like up and coming still, more working class. Not that there's anything wrong with working class, but areas like that do have a little more riffraff and a little more crime and a little more suspicious activity going on, things like that. But it's not the end of the world, because, you know, I live in Miami and we see weird things happen all the time over there. So most of these little beach towns are pretty nice. Some of them have more crime than others, but yeah, I'll be giving you guys an update on all that stuff, of course. Another thing that's been nice about these smaller beach towns that's been pretty typical is you do get free parking by the beach, which is pretty great. So you see here, like, you're allowed to park on this side of the street over here, and the only rule is you just have to be like off the pavement. So you can see I'm just like barely off the pavement, and the beach is literally right down there. So It's hardly a walk to the beach at all. You can't park on this other side of the street, just like it says on the sign over there. But if you follow the rules, I'm sure you won't get a ticket, you won't get towed, and that is a nice convenience of these smaller beach towns for sure. There's literally another vacation rental property right next door here too. But for these prices, guys, you need to be renting these properties out for thousands of dollars a week to make it anywhere near worth it. So even if you do have the few $1,000,000 to buy a property like this, you still need to be hustling to get it rented for vacation rentals all the time to make it worth it. Otherwise, you're probably going to be losing money. But you see, the street here is very nice. You know, there are no high rises. It's just these little houses by the beach, which is pretty great. So this is the north end of the island, but just on the eastern side of the northern tip. And this is like the bay side of the island. And you notice the water's a lot calmer. They got golf cart parking. There's a pier, the rod and reel pier. And obviously people come to fish over here. There's a little restaurant. You can see how much calmer the water and the atmosphere is over here, really. It's a totally different vibe than being at the beach just on the other side of the island. It's almost like two different towns that are right next to each other here. Totally different. So I'm just now walking away from the pier that I just showed you, and I'm walking through the neighborhood a little bit here to give you guys a sense of how things look around here and also the vibe. And I'm gonna walk over to the beach side from here. So this is the northern tip of Anna Maria Island by the pier, which is on the bay side, but we're gonna walk over to the beach side so you can see the difference. And it is very quiet walking through these neighborhoods, which is kind of surprising for how many vacation rentals they have. Oh, look at this tree. I gotta show you guys this real quick. It's very pretty. But you see, these vacation rental signs like this one and right across the street, they're everywhere here. So I feel like there's more houses here that are vacation rentals than ones that people actually live in. And across the other side so we don't have the sun blaring into the lens here. So obviously they do allow vacation rentals here in Anna Maria Island. I'm not sure what's the permitting process or how that goes, but clearly it's allowed. I'm just not sure if it's really worth it for how much all these houses cost. I'd rather be like my friend Michael, renting cheap apartments and doing Airbnb arbitrage and making a ton of cash versus shelling out a ton of cash for one of these places. Literally almost every house you walk by, vacation rental sign. Almost every yard has one. It's mind-blowing. Even this one next door. And I'm just driving through this area like, does anybody even live here? I feel like the whole island is for tourists. Which is even surprising to me because this isn't even allowed in Miami. Where I live, you can't do this. Like single-family homes there are not even allowed to do Airbnb in Miami Beach. So houses like this, you can't even do it. And then with the condos, there's only certain ones that allow it. Another one, short-term rental. Which is great. I mean, if the locals like it, you know, if people come here seasonally and they want to rent their places out, they totally should be allowed to. I'm not sure what it's like living here as somebody who actually does live on one of these houses, because you're constantly dealing with people coming and going and new neighbors every day, and not everybody would like that. But that's why I'm surprised that the area still is as quiet as it is. But maybe these houses attract more families and things like that than a bunch of spring breakers looking to trash the joint. I don't know that for sure, but just a guess. Got a little motel here right across the street from the beach. And another vacation rental. 2 in a row here. Big surprise, huh? Lots of golf carts in the area. It's kind of like the Villages meet spring break over here in Anna Maria Island. It is pretty cool though that people are still going to the beach at this time. It's like, I think it's a little after 7 o'clock now. So sunset's in about an hour. That's got to be a nice perk of living on the Gulf Coast, is you can even come to the beach at this time and still get a little bit of sun before the sun goes down. It's the little motel. All the $5 million houses on the sand. And they have a lot of these little public beach entrances everywhere here. This would be a cool place to ride bikes around, just like these guys are doing. There's not too much traffic here or too many cars speeding by, so it would be a pretty safe place to ride bikes. They got a little bike rack here for you to park at the beach. Got a nice little jungle-esque entrance to the beach, which is neat. Ooh, it's super quiet in here. Maybe this part of the island is not as crazy as a little bit further down where we were at before. And not even that it was that crazy. You guys, you know how I am. I just like it quiet at the beach. I like this little walkway over here.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Super relaxing.
Of course, Lizzie's here too. She's just now chiming in.
Yeah.
Because she's always too shy to talk at first, but then once she hears me blabbing on, then she starts talking.
You're not blabbing. Look at this.
Yeah.
Working out our legs.
How neat.
What workout?
Oh, I see some benches over here that you can come and enjoy too. Wow, this part of the beach is super peaceful, guys. What a nice little surprise.
I told you I wanted to come down to the end.
Yep, Lizzie was right, guys. She wanted to come this way. I just wanted to stay at the beach because I'm feeling lazy. She wanted to come over here, and it seems like it was worth it.
Yay!
Much more relaxed over here. So that's a good tip for anybody that wants to come visit Anna Maria Island. If you want a more peaceful part of the island, come to the northern tip of the beach. Find some parking on the street, which is free. Just got to park in the right spots. And you got a nice little peaceful part of the beach here. Pretty empty.
I love it.
Just got some people over here.
Brazilians. You can hear.
Brazilian?
Yes.
You're talking Portuguese?
All Brazilians.
I didn't hear it. And we got sunset happening in about an hour from now. Now the question is, do we stay or do we go? Check it out. Look how calm the water is over here versus the other area we first landed on. So different, right? Wasn't expecting that at all. Very cool. I wish we would have ended up here first. Wow, guys, it's so beautiful over here. This is such a pleasant surprise. I'm super happy we came up here. Just look at this scenery. Check out this panoramic shot. 360 degrees. Northern tip of Anna Maria Island. Look, guys, the closer you get to the tip of the island here, the more the water starts changing into that rougher ocean than what I just showed you back there, where it's nice and calm. And this is just like, you know, a couple hundred feet up the beach here. Check out all these little benches over here by the beach. How beautiful. I gotta say, guys, my first impression here wasn't great, but after exploring more of the island, I really do like it. Looks like they're all dedicated to somebody. All of these benches. See? Look at this. If you want to know the vibe of Anna Maria Island, even with all these tourists here, people come, ride their bike to the beach, and don't even lock it up. If you do this in Miami, it's gone in 5 minutes. Look at this palm tree. How different is that? It's got like these little cactus growing all over it. Never seen that before. Interesting.
They come to life.
Another beautiful tree. I'm just walking back to the car now, and of course I can't help myself. I see these things, I have to show you. Now there's another interesting tree. Looks more like a cactus than a tree though. Lots of little spikes on it.
Does it hurt? Oh yeah.
Well guys, even though I wanted to be lazy and stay on Longboat Key, I'm glad that Lizzie convinced me to come here to Anna Maria Island because it has been quite a treat visiting this area. Something I wasn't expecting and very, very beautiful. Highly recommend a trip here to just come and check the place out, even if you can't afford to stay here. I'm not staying in here. I'm staying in Bradenton across the bridge, which is much more affordable, and it's about a 40-minute drive, not too bad. Definitely come check it out though. Check out my next video on the screen, and I'll see you guys over there.